I ask God if He will have His shield of love and truth around you permanently, so only God's love and truth will exist between you and me. I allow the masters, teachers, and loved ones of you to channel through me out of whatever realm to say whatever they wish. I ask the permission of the Lords of the Akashic Records so I'm able to look into the records of you and remove whatever information I'm allowed.
And I believe he was tortured, and so he lost his hearings.
Part of the near-death experience was in order for you to gain a perspective of all the different realms.
The way I process information is very independent, and that makes me more of that lone wolf type. Is this supposed to be for the rest of my life?
I hear a voyager, a traveler. You're a traveler from a galactic group of Arcturian. How would you like to do this?
So I think for me, I'm just open-minded at this point.
Yes. So basically what I do is I usually do the reading itself, and if you like, after with 10, 15 minutes left, I do an energetic clearing. I clear out the energy. So the Akashic Records is it's a space known as the ether, a space between spaces. It's an element, basically, that the ether itself is where all our actions, our thoughts, our speech gets stored in an energetic vibration in the fifth dimension. Whatever we're speaking, whatever we're thinking is like when we throw a rock into a little pond or a stream, or basically a pond or a lake, and you have the reverberations of energy that actually circle out from that particular spot. Is the same thing like our actions, our thoughts, and our deeds, so to speak. And so they just keep going. But our personal actions get stored in the Akashic Records. As an Akashic Record reader, myself, what I'm doing is I'm accessing that information based upon information I receive from a person's masters, teachers, ancestors. And through a prayer, I'm receiving information on that energetic vibration. So the Akashic Records is not an area of what we're basically asking yes or no questions, which is ego-based questions, but more or less a higher consciousness, a higher vibration of what do I need to do? How do I need to do it? Basically, through a reading, I receive a holographic image or imagery for that person's records, based upon the prayer and based upon using the person's name. Einstein itself and Edgar Cayce called it the Book of Life. Einstein called it the spooky connections that exist in the universe. And so I just find it a very interesting energy for us to be able to access in it being in a state of receptivity in order to help assist our lives in moving forward and being able to be in touch with our soul's journey.
It's amazing. And so obviously, last time I talked to you, it was about my OBEs and one ND that I had in France. I think we might use different languages, but I think we're pointing to the same thing, really.
Yes, yes. Good. Now you told me about the different floors, and I'm accessing that floor of where the information is kind of stored, the library.
So I'm really excited for this, and I'm ready. So
Yeah, okay. So just so the audience understands, the Akashic Records, it's a sacred prayer. I read the prayer out loud once, and then I read the prayer silently twice, using your name for the silent prayer. So shall we start?
absolutely.
Okay. So what I'll do is, as I said, I'll read your name. I'll read the prayer out loud, and then the second time I'll use your name twice, and then I will tell you that your records are open, and I'll see what information comes through to me without any questions. And once that information wears off, or I don't receive anything further, then I'll ask you to ask me questions.
Sure.
Okay. So you can take a deep breath in, you can relax, however you choose to do that, and I'll start. I ask God if He will have His shield of love and truth around you permanently, so only God's love and truth will exist between you and me. I allow the masters, teachers, and loved ones of you to channel through me out of whatever realm to say whatever they wish. I ask the permission of the Lords of the Akashic Records so I'm able to look into the records of you and remove whatever information I'm allowed. Okay. Your records are open. Interesting. Sister comes through. Somewhat of a conflict between father, you, and like a triangular conflict. More or less not understanding your sister's behavior in acting the way she's treating your father, or that the understanding of the three of you together. So the three of you have like a triangle, and there's a triangular energy that comes through. And through that triangle, your sister comes through as the major conflict of pulling away from it or pulling out of it, or creating a more of a disruption within the family for you. So I see it as a rebellious streak, sense of rebelliousness coming in, and you saying, "Why do you have to cause trouble?" And secondly, is grandmother figure, a grandmother, your grandmother, a loving grandmother, a powerful grandmother, nurturing, a person who is very wise and loving, and who you look up to. And then something with work comes through. Not conflict at work, but a pushing away of something, of a job, of a workplace, of not being shut out, but being not understood for your ideas or your thinking, and going beyond what other people could understand. I see they show you on a boat with a rowboat on a journey like the Amazon, or life like curves, the twists and turns of life coming to you, but on your own doing this journey. Uh, yeah, on your own with a green canoe or something green. And then initially, when I opened up your records, I saw a pet, an animal came through. Uh, and I see you tickling it or rubbing its belly or being very close to it. And then a cultural diversity between where you came from and ancestors and where you are now. And so they're supporting you, but there's a distance between the feeling of the culture, the feeling of having your family, and fitting in. It's it's interesting because your journey is a journey away from assimilating into something. It's to branch away from what was a tradition, but that tradition itself no longer serves at this moment or in this time in your life. See you on an apartment building, a tall building looking over like a narrow street. Maybe not a narrow street, but a narrow courtyard or something with bricks or cobblestone down below. Anyway,
Yeah. Well, first of all, I mean, the one thing that you said, I was like, whoa, the image that you got, me on the boat, um, it actually happened. It was, I think, like 2 years ago. Like, actually, I even like took a picture when I was there. So, like, exactly as you described me on this, like, green
yeah.
like ladder. I don't know what. Yeah, and
Yes,
like
yes.
yeah, I think going back to the beginning, as you said about the triangle between dad and sister. I think with my family at this point, I feel like not just my sister is pulling away, but like every person is like, okay, I'm on my own, like I need my own space. One interesting thing might be that I remember coming onto this earth knowing both of my mother and my father as souls. But I came here more because of my father. At the moment of conception, I think it's sort of like a three-way contract between
Yeah.
three people, obviously father, mother, and then the child. And I was more of like coming here because father wanted to perhaps create, life or create a family. And his desire, his intention was just stronger. And I think that was pulling me into this life. But if there is such a thing as like a perfect soulmate, I would actually say that me and my father, like, we are pretty good, like as far as,
Well, it's interesting because it comes off as if you're the older sister and your father is your brother from a past life. Um,
whoa.
and as I see it, it's as if he needs your guidance because he became lost on his journey, and he needed your support as like an older sister, and almost like showing him the way to go and to live, even though he's the father. Almost as if he demands not the attention, but he needs the nurturing, and sometimes you have the patience it shows to be able to do that, but it became a little off balance, and so the triangle, which has nothing to do with what I just said, is like wobbly. It's wobbled. I don't know. It shows your mother as independent individual if she's not here or not, but independent individual, uh, an independent woman. And your father getting angry or aggravated at not being able to control certain things that he wanted or how he wanted it.
Yeah,
Bro
I
and
want to.
your brother hearing things that disturbed him, that bothered him, and he didn't know how to handle sensitivity towards things, even though he may not show that. I see him in his room listening to music and loudness and blocking things out, and like you being in his way, but not being in his way. Like in other words, you could laugh it off on the surface, and he gets annoyed at that. Like he goes into his like covers himself up and in his room in his own world.
That is so much my brother. I mean, like spot on. And I kind of feel bad a little bit, like, listening to that because, yeah, I'm aware. I can actually want to kind of tie in my grandma with that because, like you said, a strong personality. So my grandma and grandpa from my father's side, they have passed away, both. Um, Actually, I was always really looking up to my grandpa.
Yeah,
Um, he was a teacher, and he got deaf by the end of his life. I believe at that time the French, sort of came into Vietnam, and
yeah, yeah,
and I believe he was tortured, and so he lost his hearings
yeah.
as he got older, and then when I was born, he was already deaf, and I just always like remembered him being very quiet, but it was almost like he understood everything. Though because of that, my grandma, she took on the strong position in the
Yeah, yeah,
family,
yeah, yeah.
and my father had an issue with that because he really believed that, sort of the family should be led by
Man.
the male figure. So, the man should lead the house, and um yeah, like that, he like, oh, we wish that we would have a male, like, like a brother,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
like
yeah,
not
yeah.
female. Like that was just because my grandma became really a strong figure, at one point, and father was a little bit freaking out about that.
Well, it shows that she had no choice to do that because of the position your grandfather was. And it's interesting because when I did the interview with you, I saw you following a grandfather like by a temple as like a little girl, following him around, lighting candles or something, taking care of something, and you were little walking around with him. And that's interesting, like a robe, some type of thing he was wearing, like a prayer robe. Yeah, and you looked at him or looked up to him while he was doing these things and following him around. So that came through the last time and during the interview. But this
Wow.
time, in terms of grandmother, when I'm accessing the information, it's what they're showing me, and that's what I'm presenting.
Hmm, hmm.
Yeah. If the and interestingly enough, what happens with the Akashic Records is that when I get too much information from the person, then it's more interesting when I receive it without information
Hmm, hmm.
because otherwise the ego gets in the way and then creates an image that's not the flow of the subconscious mind receiving.
It's very interesting too. I mean, it's like you're giving me puzzle pieces, and and
Yes.
and then it just like, in that way it makes sense, in that way it makes sense. And yeah, even like what you said, like, seeing me with grandpa in some sort of a temple. Let's say that I don't remember exactly going to the temple with him, but that could be very much of a symbolic
Yes.
image of our ancestry. Because yeah, from my father's side, um, we actually come from the ancestry. I mean, from the surname. The surname is Tran, and although that's a very popular surname in Vietnam, we come from like the Tran dynasty, which at one point they were, I think it was 12th century. They were actually, let's say, right, I mean, owning the kingdom, and So,
That's what
I
I'm
mean, we have
seeing.
all of this. Yeah, we have all of this with our family tree. And, my father has taught me like everything when I was a child.
Right.
And I was like, kind of laughing a little bit, like, yeah, like, sure. But, as I'm older, I really appreciate all of this because ancestry, it's almost like DNA remembers,
Yeah, yes.
So as much as I want to be like nonchalant about it, it's very important actually to know one's ancestry.
Yeah, I see you. I see in ancestral clothing, uh, like a little red button, uh, like flared out jacket, and the grandfather wearing like sh pants that are up to the knees, sort of, with black shoes. I mean, I know traditional dress in terms of, but this is what I'm seeing in like an orange and red uh, dress with buttons across, and you like him sweeping the place by a temple or sweeping the grounds, and you're following along. Yeah. So maybe if you have questions this way, if you want
Mm.
to, ask questions.
So maybe my question is there anyone on the other side looking down on me and maybe if they have a message?
I'll ask. Yeah. Okay. So it's interesting. The males, look at your power that you have. So there's three men. I don't know if your father had brothers or other men, like uncles. The uncles are proud of you, but they're also threatened by not threatened by the power as a woman that you have. So it's almost as if there's a committee of family members, ancestral family members, who they don't want you to speak as much because the tradition is as you said before, was to be in a certain place. But you crack the code through your experience of what you went through with your near-death experience. And so you see beyond the cultural differences and beyond that stigmatized role that somebody's supposed to be in. So that just came through in terms of the question of asking it, what do they want you to know? That's
Hmm.
more of, let me ask that question. Yeah, there's is a force of family that wants to keep things in a certain way.
Hmm.
So you're surrounded by that energy of protection, but also a path that you're being guided to, so to speak, by your ancestors. They don't want you to lose the tradition.
Mm.
It's I see people wearing like hats, like a big like like monks in Tibet, family members, like Buddhist outfits, monks. So you have like the monks in the family. That's who's guiding you, and they pray for you and watch over you. There's a masculine energy from a past life from you, a, like a boy.
Mm.
Yeah. So that's the part that they connect to in you, the
Mm.
boy from another life. And I see you in Tibet or in a Buddhist temple, walking around. And so those ancestors from that time, from that past life, still have an impact on your soul. Yeah. So the theme in this life is similar to the themes that have existed in your other lives, of breaking away from systems that no longer serve you, or not being put in a position where you're told to do this as opposed to you doing what you need to do for your higher self and following that path. And so being in places and positions where you're the lone wolf, so to speak, in certain situations is exactly that theme of challenging it. So I think part of the near-death experience was in order for you to gain a perspective of all the different realms and understanding of, so that you could better come to an understanding of the things that you felt, but also the things that are presented, like what I'm saying. Not insofar as past lives, but being able to, you're enduring pain in order to become independent, an independent soul, away from tradition, because it doesn't serve in these day and age to be fully attached to that.
Can I ask a question about that? Um, Very interesting that you mentioned the lone wolf because I always felt like this is my North Star. Of course, I understand, like obviously we have to be in relationship with everything, but there's something about me which I just feel like I like the way I process information is very independent. And that makes me more of that lone wolf type. But my question is this supposed to be for the rest of my life?
Well, okay, that's more ego. That's more ego based because there's a finality or something. You want a concrete answer. So I have to word it in a way where how do you or what is? Because unless that information comes, I'll ask and see if it comes through.
Mhm, mhm,
I hear the word no. It's not based upon that. I hear no.
mhm,
I hear as long as you are able to hear information that validates or recognizes other aspects of yourself from the past, and maybe what me saying what I'm saying is a validation to just assimilate that through your energy so that you can it works through and then you come to a different place of understanding. So they express it as you'd rather be by yourself because you could comprehend and then process things at your pace. You're looking at things because you can see things from a greater perspective, and it becomes almost like you're slowing yourself down in order to fit into things that you already understand. Not that you don't have the patience, it's that you know more than the situation is. I think the near-death experience, the way it's presented, is a way for you to learn to appreciate the not only the existence, bless you, but the grounding, but the grounding of the life. I guess not to be in your head, but to be in your feet, so that your feet touch the ground. And I don't, and they show it as like wandering around it, but enjoying the wander, enjoying to go to different places. Paris, I see France, something with France, something with exploring and going, and not being like when somebody's doing this, you're going like wiping your shoulder off, like in a way where I have no time to be held back. I want to go forward, but I also want to be free. Freedom is your theme for you. Dance, they say dance, dancing in your room. Yeah, I see you doing that. Um,
Oh, yeah,
um, and the turtle energy comes through. Turtle longevity, protection, the ability to know that you can hide under a shell when you need to, and the ability to come out when you can. But I guess in twofold, don't be a turtle that puts its head completely under its shell. Come out of the shell and walk around. So the turtle energy comes through to like talk to you.
yeah.
It understands who you are and it's a part of you, that turtle. The bagua, like I see the bagua, like I see the directions for it, the different energies from it. It's like a golden star on your back, of like the turtle. The turtle is like a golden star. It means money. I see money, money, gold, something with gold, money, like shining treasure with that. Um, and a book with a white cover, and it says Van's Way, something to that effect. The Van Way. So I see you opening a window out to the front of a house, having a cup of coffee or tea out a window, or like opening a window and looking down somewhere. Maybe you're supposed to open a window. Not everything that is happening, but it's just maybe symbolic of opening the window,
Mhm.
opening the window and allowing the air to flow, um, to be open to the window being open or to life.
That's very beautiful. And I feel like maybe that was kind of pointing to where I am right now. And what I mean, like right this month or the past few months. Because on one hand, I feel like I'm starting to do something that's very important, which is just, like continue to share um, the NDE and the OBEs stuff. At the same time, my life has been very much like a hermit. And I am a hermit for sure, but sometimes I take it way, way too far, where I'm like, well, if there's no, ROI, then why do I need to go outside? And I'm sorry.
You need vitamin D for the sun.
Yeah.
I've been guilty myself from my own past lives of being staying inside as well. So it's not for me. There's no judgment on my end of as on the ego level of saying that. So I have a paranoia from other past lives, and your paranoia also comes from a past life or the feeling of not going out because they were looking for you. But it's interesting because as if your father brought you to a foreign place in order to expose you to that energy of being in a place that wasn't what you were familiar with. Again, so as you to repeat the theme of being somewhere else or breaking from something. So it looks like in terms of energy, your sister became the feminine more. You have the feminine, but you more challenging towards your father, the masculine energy from the two of you. I don't know. That's what it shows. And your brother more the feminine energy. A mixture between both, but more leaning towards passivity and hiding and complete hiding from things. And while you understand him, he's actually your teacher to show you not to hide. He's your teacher because you see a reflection of yourself in him, but then you say, I'm not like him. But then again, you have some of that in you.
I'm still like,
I know, I know,
processing
I know,
all
I
of
know.
that. But yeah, I think what you kind of said there, which is probably like the theme of my life, which sort of continues from the past life, which is that, yeah, I don't do well with traditions, right? And by now I know it for a fact. Like I just don't do well with traditions. And I have lived my life in a way that, it's not like I'm fighting someone or I'm trying to like impose my own opinion on someone. But if I feel like, okay, some people are traditional and I am not, I move away from that. So I almost like I don't deal with that.
I just wanted to say something because something came to my mind. It's like when we're raised or we're indoctrinated into a religion, we sometimes don't understand the religion itself. We just feel that we shut it out and push it away because of the people who pushed it upon us or families.
Mm.
So in doing the reading, I saw that aspect of a percentage. 20% of the ancestors saying, please be attached to us a little bit. And 100% of you says, absolutely not. I'm my own person. I don't need any of this. That's a key component towards many people's lives. And that's what I was coming through for this situation because I see ancestors asking, but they don't know how to ask. They're too pushy and too aggressive. So through the pushiness and aggression, you have no choice but to turn your back and shut the door because otherwise you become overwhelmed and you lose your own identity.
I just feel like I can see already, and I've seen this for a very long time. I feel like my sister is not going to move further. Like she found what works for her. My little brother, I do not know. But for myself, I just know that like right now where I am in life, it's a temporary position.
Yeah.
So two things in my mind. One is that will I have people trying to hold me back as I move forward? And the second question is, am I on the right path?
Okay. Well, I see controlling men in your path or on your path, and they resonate with an aspect of your father and your relationship in some way. So that's an energy that still exists in the energy field, in your energy field. Um, but I don't remember what the second question was, and then I'll answer. You said,
It's if I'm on the right path.
yeah, yeah. Let me see. Let me ask that question. So, yeah, you're on the right path insofar as you're walking down a hallway as they show it, and people are like looking to ask you a question, but you really want to avoid and just keep going in some way, as opposed to stopping and like interacting. So, let me ask the question in terms of the path with that, because that's something relevant towards what you ask. Okay, so there's doors that can be opened by you and for you if you slow down in the path you go to pay attention to the people who are left and right of you and stop for a moment to listen to them and to communicate with them and don't run home or don't run away. You're on the right path if you stay on the path you're on, but you allow the doors to open and greet the people and communicate with the people. So a matter of opening yourself up to more of a social network as opposed to walking down that successful road by yourself. So you need other people to be with to walk with you.
I feel like coming to this session, oh, well, like I know the future. Like I'm really like set on it. Like it's like I'm really strong on my beliefs and what's gonna happen in the future. Um, but yeah, I think this kind, yeah, exactly. Like it's almost like shadow work a little bit, like yeah, you like I am like certain of the things that I want, but they are those shadows beneath that I should be aware of
Well,
as I walk.
but it's more so that's definitely it. It's when doing a reading, I'm receiving information that's relevant towards what the person needs to know right now. And the information I'm receiving are the floors that get you to the roof. Like, so it's not being at the roof without first processing those different stages because it's a matter of when bringing up your this stuff that we spoke about, that's what they want you to know. You want to ask one more question and then we'll do the clear
Yeah, I
read?
think there's one I would
All
like
right.
to ask. Is there any person that currently lives here on Earth that I haven't met that would be part of my future, or that, somehow in their subconscious they are in a way reaching out or have any message for me?
Well, I see somebody with glasses and I see somebody who has a need. I don't know. It's funny. I saw Amsterdam. I saw Amsterdam before, but I saw somebody who has not a person who's not socially uncomfortable, but a person who resonates with your discomfort. But in the process of you helping them, you help yourself. So it's an intellectual individual who has social and social fears, anxieties but resonates with you, that you could assist them and it'll help you in the process where you don't lose yourself. And then I also saw San Diego. I don't know what San Diego means. I don't know if it's travel or something, but San Diego and going to San Diego, something San
Yeah,
Diego. Yeah.
interesting. So Amsterdam, actually, I have this kind of weird thing where like I can feel the signature of a person if I focus on that, but also I can feel the signature of a country or a city, let's say. So Holland or the city of Amsterdam, this country in particular, they have the same blueprint as my soul blueprint. That is what that's what I recognize.
You know what came to mind actually, which is interesting. It's almost like a galactic being,
Uh-huh.
like a blonde-haired man, tall, um, something connected towards, I don't know, just that's what a person on a bicycle riding a bike wearing glasses, blonde hair, something to that. But Amsterdam, yes, Amsterdam is the energetic. I can feel that as well because that's what they're saying. Amsterdam, it keeps coming through.
So I just had many people kind of pointing out something about galactic beings or star seeds. I just wanted to know maybe just yeah from you actually,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that I'm not like trying to
I-
kind of get that information myself. But is there any way you can,
I'll
you
ask.
know,
I'll ask. Yeah,
ask? Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, so I hear a voyager, a traveler. You're a traveler from a galactic group of Arcturian. I hear Arcturian. Arcturian energy, and I see people traveling from place to place, fixing and taking care of technology on other ships or something with ships, of being able to process the information or like repair things that are going on, and that you have that ability or that that computer mind engineering to fix that. That comes from some of that energy. That's what I'm getting.
Hmm.
So it's like they call upon a group to come to fix certain things aboard a ship or a place in a city, and you go or went or will go to these places in your sleep or in your higher self and with a team of people be sent out to do that kind of work. That's what I'm seeing, I'm getting.
Hmm. So technology, fixing,
Yes,
repairing.
yes, yes, yes. But repairing high-end stuff that doesn't exist here, but looks like a list of things, and you can go through it very fast and get it done.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is amazing. Yeah.
So maybe just the last one, if anything spontaneously comes up.
All right,
Yeah.
I'll ask that question.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I asked, is there anything you need to know that you are not alone? You've been guided for centuries. You've been guided by for centuries, and as if you're being picked and going to be placed in certain spots to do your work. I also see you giving talks on the near-death experience in a lecture hall. You're wearing a black shirt, like a turtleneck. I know the picture looks like that, but I see you that, and I see you walking on a stage like TEDx, something to that effect. People will listen because it's calming. They'll stop and relate. It's relatable. The tone, the speed.
Stick.
Okay, that's the information. Um, Now, what I do is I close the records, but I close the records after the energy. We do the energy. This way, it takes out the stuff that we spoke about. This way, it's more relaxing, clears it away, and then put the positive, rebalance the chakras. So usually, what I have my clients do is just sit comfortably. They can close their eyes. They can lie down, however they feel. Lum 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 lum. Vom 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 vom. Rum 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 rum. Move your fingers, move your toes. Yeah, yeah. That's I can feel the third eye powerfully. Okay, your records are closed. They go back to you. Yeah,
Yeah, I feel really good. I think during the reading, like at some point I felt like I was a little bit fighting certain energies.
yeah,
Almost feel like a little bit exposed, honestly.
yeah,
Like
yeah, I understand. Exposed to yourself, but not to me.
yeah, yeah. So, but then I think after the clearing, definitely I'm feeling like it is okay, you know. I mean, the information is it's there. It's for everyone to see actually. So like nothing is really like a secret. This was very, very profound, and I think the audience will love this. I mean, I loved it myself. I mean, there's certain information, about the star seed stuff.
Yes, yes, me too. I love that stuff as well. Yeah, you can't hide the things you really feel in your soul. And if you have to
Mhm.
protect yourself in certain work environments and around certain people in order to fit in, then that's the part that's not the part fitting in.
Not just you, but like so many people have commented about, being the Arcturian race. And I kid you not, I like this is actually not something that I know of consciously, but it's almost like a blind spot,
Yes,
like other
yes.
people can tell immediately, like, yeah, that's your ancestry, like your soul ancestry.
Well, that's
But
what
I'm like,
made, yeah. That's what I heard.
Yeah,
It's
I
interesting.
had no clue. But that's very interesting to hear. And for me, it's just being open-minded and understanding that obviously coming here, we have this veil of forgetting.
Well, I think I want to give you, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to be able to read the records, and you have the courage to open yourself up to receive information. But then we become, I think, more authentic because once people know who we really are, then we are more comfortable with who we are ourselves. So,
Mhm. Yeah. So I want to thank you so much for this
absolutely.
session. Yeah, and I cannot wait to, see your book coming out. And yeah, I think we kind of, I mean, we talked about some synchronicities, and that
Yes,
was just
yes, yes.
so
It's
I
very
wish you
good.
all the best. We
Yeah, I
have a
will.
plan
I will. I
and
will. Yeah,
it's gonna come out.